who it's their fault for taking it. It's their fault for watching it. It's their fault for not raising their kids to see good and evil. So how can we just blame? It's like otherwise it'll be like all the other minorities, just blaming somebody else. So are there a lot of synagogue of Satan types in power in these bad industries? Yes, but it's your fault if you watch porn. If it's your fault if you give into it. It's your fault if you follow it.
It's your fault if they bring crack into your communities and you start smoking it.
Yeah, if you start smoking it, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep. But if they come and they get crack and they like hide it in the candy and they give it to all the children who don't even know, and now all the kids
that's
become
different.
addicted.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be like sneaking,
like
putting trannies in the library and putting pedophilia, homosexual themed stuff into cartoon shows. That would be what's subversive, and that is straight up evil.
So right now, I mean, that's what they're doing, right?
Exactly.
They are doing that, and they've been infiltrating our education system for a long time. All of our public schools have curriculums that are approved by them, and they tell us it's false history, and they just trick us. But you can still say, well, then why didn't the fathers protect us from that? And then you can go, well, like half of our really good fathers got killed in 2 world wars that was essentially caused by them, and then after that we were subverted in every single way by drugs and all the entire music industries and rock and roll and rap music in a million different ways. They poisoned us, and now we're in a weakened state where we couldn't really, our fathers couldn't even see which way to go. But it's still, regardless of who's to blame, the conversation's coming around. People are figuring it out, but we can't really talk about it still because it's still too dangerous, but we can, learn.
For sure.
Everybody can start learning. Just start learning. Nobody needs to do anything. Nobody needs to hate anybody. Just start learning and figuring out, like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
And it's like, it always comes back down to, like, seeing Jesse as the example where Jesse, sometimes he does tell people what to do, what to say, what to think, but for the most part, he only asks questions that allude to you coming up with the answer yourself. So you're like, wait, who owns all the banks?
Right.
Wait, who runs all the media?
Right.
Who is this? I didn't say anything. I just asked a question.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, the stream still looks like it's not working.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the extended. I can't find it.
I didn't put it as extended. I just put it as the same one, hoping that it would start up the old one again, because it happened once before.
Oh, so it's just the 29?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It should just say live. Is it not?
Yeah, well, just because sometimes it keeps the old...
Did it do it as an old one or a new one?
Well, it's hard to tell because
it says live, but when I click on it, oh, here we go. Is this gonna work?
Yeah, I don't...
Oh, here it is.
This
one's working.
Is it a new
7
upload or
bucks.
is this the same old one?
No, because the old
it's
ones
a new one.
There's doubles?
Yeah, it'll keep the old one sometimes for a few minutes while it's up.
Yeah, I was waiting for the old
That's why extended
one's running.
I really got to use this
We got
laptop.
7, 8, or 8. People are finding it. We're getting in.
Sweet.
I can't find it at all.
Hey, I got a fresh new take on it though, with what we were talking
There
about.
we go. Is this it?
What's
Okay.
your fresh new take?
So, it's actually really hopeful. Everything's going to work out for good. Because, well, for a lot of reasons, but the reason why it's so messed up right now was actually intentional. And it was intentionally allowed for the planet to get in such a messed up state because that was the best and quickest way to get us to the future that we really want, was to go through essentially a real painful time.
Like a future of no police?
For a long time. Maybe, actually. But first we have to have no crime, and then we can have no police.
Yeah, that's such a... it's so silly. Then you see all these... I just saw this recent video out of Seattle. This mob try to pull a guy out of his car. He wasn't speeding. They were surrounding him and beating his car up. And then
Pulling him through the window.
Yeah, then this leftist is screaming from the top of a roof like, "Oh my God, call 911! He's trying to run him over!" And then they're beating him through the window. He shoots the black guy who's beating him, gets out and disappears into the mob and leaves. And then they're calling, Sean King came out and said, "Oh, a known white supremacist." Like, outright lying. The dude is Hispanic and looks kind of like mixed with black. He's a union worker. I think they found already his bio. like, it's crazy. They're calling him a known white supremacist because he fought back. It's just a great way to blame white people again and again.
Well, the funny thing about that is that they're screwing themselves over because they're saying that it's all white supremacists, but then all the celebrities are, bailing them out of jail. And so, are you guys funding the white supremacists then? What is it?
They're just exposing the fake news even more. Like, everybody can see, nobody
Right.
believes it's white supremacy. So it's like, it's just getting exposed. Everybody's getting exposed. So,
Right. Anyone who's ever been to prison probably has met a real white supremacist. Only because in prison you have to pick a side.
Right.
In life you don't have to, and so people don't get it.
And even that word itself, supremacist, it's a spell. It's just like whatever. It's just a dude who really likes being white. Like, I don't care. There's black people who like love being black.
I saw a post today by somebody. I won't say any names, but they said that being pro and prideful black is not anti-white, and someone left a comment saying, "Well, then why is it anti-black to be prideful of being white?" And one of the comments that got 200 likes or whatever said like, "Well, white people have not been oppressed, and the pride of white people has been used to oppress black people, as black people have their pride is to overcome and build themselves." Like, they're so caught up in the semantics of that, like carrying the past into the future, that we can't just be as equals, like what we all really want to do. It's like resentment. It's holding on to the past and being like, well, my pride is different than your pride.
Right. It's like a girl holding on to a guy who cheated on her, or a failed marriage or relationship,
And I'm like,
and then
dude,
comparing every guy she
yeah,
meets to
like
that.
people were like, dude, we were in second grade together, bro. We lived the same kind of life. It's like, I wasn't your slave owner and you weren't a slave.
Right. And
We were in the same class.
There's no privilege. I got some black friends who make me look poor as hell. They're bawling.
Yeah.
Where's my privilege?
Ditto.
it's all just a lie, man. It's just a smoke screen that they put up to disguise. It's actually to take attention away from black criminality and to take attention away from black immorality. So when blacks fail and it's their fault, it really is.
It is.
Then
You know,
they throw up this thing and they say, "Oh, well, it's because of racism. It's because of white supremacy." No, it's because of black crime and black immorality. That's why.
And
But
if you look at,
instead of taking responsibility, you'd rather just point a finger and blame us
and
for
people
your
are so
screw-ups.
they have such an ego and they're so sensitive about it that they can't take criticism or hear the truth without being defensive about it. And it's like, I saw this video, right? And I don't say this out of hatred or anger or I grew up with black people. I love black people. But I love decent people. It has nothing to do. But I saw this video of like 20 to 30 all black dudes stomping out on just one black dude by himself. And I thought about it. I was like, I've never seen any other group or race of 20 or 30 people stomp out. Like, that's kind of like what they have. Like, even Don't Be a Menace movie, South Central, that was all making fun of black stereotypes. And one of the scenes was that they all stomped out a dude. They were playing like Ring Around the Rosie, stomping him. And I'm like, why? Why is there one race that will come in a pack and stomp their own kind or any kind?
They account for basically 100% of mob attacks in America, which is, again, all these crime stats. It's not to hate blacks. It's to see what's really
and they'll
happening.
say, "Oh, it's because of poverty." And it's like, first, no, it's not because of poverty, and second of all, what caused the poverty? Maybe it's your behavior.
For sure.
I don't know any white people that wouldn't be really happy if blacks just started like acting right. If they just started acting civilized, getting their act together, raising strong families, telling the truth, being normal instead of listening to music that's all about violence and sex and drugs. If they just like made nice things.
Stop defending criminals and stop. It's crazy.
They weren't
They're the
so
only
wild.
race. They're the only race in America. They're the only race in America that will talk crap about their most upstanding members and call them coons and Uncle Toms, but then put their lives on the line to defend career criminals and degenerates.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington said something crazy.
It says anything that's evil, they love it. It's like, well, what you get.
Yeah, I watched this interview with short Instagram clip of Denzel Washington. I want to find the full clip, but he said you can't blame it on systemic racism because you don't enter the system until you're an adult. It's like, so how did you end up being a criminal and coming into that? You know, you don't go to jail when you're 7 years old. And it was talking about family and not having a father. And it's, you know, when I found Jesse, it wasn't because I liked hearing him talk about black people. I liked what Jesse said because I resonated with all of it, because it was a you know, the principles and a timeless message that applies to everybody. And I realized, I was like, damn, I'm black. Because even though I had my father in the home, I still, the order wasn't right, and I suffered from it, and I had my mom's identity. So it totally made sense, and because I resonated with, as a white man, it gave me that confidence to be able to talk to my black brothers as, you know, the same, because it's like, yo, I want for what I want for myself, and what I learn in my own life is what I want for other people. And it's crazy to see these celebrities who have worked hard, like The Rock or somebody, who are super successful. They work hard. They're always talking about overcoming and power. And then they come and they try to guide someone else and feel sorry for them.
Tony Robbins, speaking of overcoming,
the
guru of overcoming.
Exactly. Tony Robbins, it's like, dude.
It's like getting all emotional and beta
Why
and
would you
trying to
tell
come up with
somebody,
excuses.
give someone other advice than you would take for yourself?
Right, it's all a lie. They're all, like, it's, we talked about today, me and Trevor, when we're eating, that what's happening is that people are excusing the actions of like a spoiled, entitled little brat. It's like in the old days, if your parent corrected your ridiculous spoiled kid, some other person, you would thank them, like, oh, thank you, my son's a little brat. Now, they defend the little brat and let him get away with murder and just keep defending him. It does no good for that person. If you want to fix the issues in any community, you need to hold everybody accountable for their actions. No excuses, ever at all.
It's so crazy, man. Like, what are we gonna do? How can we have a culture? How can we have a country and a nation with just groups of people that want something completely different, pulling in opposite directions all the time? I don't know how that could ever work.
Well, I think
how can we have a country that's split down the middle, one pulling to hell and one pulling to heaven? Like, we want to be like you and I.
It starts to
we want to build.
Sorry. And it starts to make me think that, you know, just like you were saying about Jesse and people having to see for themselves, it's like, what is the answer that not forced segregation, but like naturally of people, you know, what if a different ethnic, like what if all the white people went to one place in the country and everyone else was like, all right, cool, like you guys do your thing and we'll do ours. And then there's no intermingling to blame. And it's like, all right, well, let's see. And then what? You know, like, because while everything's mixed up, so of course I would love everybody to get along and everyone to work together. But it's like, obviously, there's resentments and there's people want credit and be like, well, my race did this and yours didn't. You know, all that kind of stuff. So if it was only thing there was accountability, like what cities, because the Democrats are doing that right now. Like the only cities that are going to hell are democratically ran.
Right. It's proof that, and like someone in the chat brought it up about segregation, that all this is going to end in that. And my argument was, it's natural for people to segregate. You look at the fact that we have Chinatowns in major cities. We have little Ethiopias. People tend to stick with their own, and there's nothing wrong with that.
But it's freedom. You can't have forced segregation or integration, so that we should have the freedom to discriminate if that's what we want.
Right. If you want to have a bunch of white people in a neighborhood, they should have the right, and the government shouldn't force them to take on anybody else. Just like you shouldn't force little Ethiopia to just let in a bunch of white shops. If they don't want to, whatever. It's okay. You know, let it happen naturally without forcing the hand.
I think we're right on the verge of having a real big breakthrough. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, but not a lot worse. In fact, I think we might be at the worst that it's going to get right now. We might be at the bottom.
Yeah.
Possibility. Like, it's already bad enough that everybody is paying attention, and that's pretty much all that we need. And now that everybody's paying attention, and this election's about to happen, there could be, man, like a kind of miraculous turnaround. And it could be as simple as just passing a few new laws, like a couple new congressional amendments, like a new constitutional amendment. What if it was like, remember how Trump mentioned before he wanted to reopen up the libel laws?
The which laws?
What that really is? The libel?
I don't even know what that is.
So we don't even hardly hear about it very much anymore, but we already have them on the books. But it's sort of like we got away from using them. That all sorts of legal loopholes got created around them. But really what it is, it's a way of combating slanderous press. So basically fake news.
Oh, right. I remember hearing that, and the rumor that Obama is the one that reinstated it.
So there, I don't know about that, but
that's what I heard. I don't know if it's true.
It would make it illegal for people to lie politically. So it'd be illegal for newspapers to, and it'd be illegal for politicians to lie. Like if you could catch you in a lie and show, hey, this guy's objectively lying to us and telling us something that's not true, knowingly, and sue that guy and have him fired from his position and demoted, disqualified. So it would be like a new rep for the truth. If we could just, even, it might sound small, but imagine if we could just get the news to tell us the truth. Like somehow we could make it legally impossible for them to lie to us. The left would get destroyed because they literally just depend on lies all the time. So their whole thing would fall apart. Their entire organization would fall apart. And the people we're talking about, who shall not be named right now, it's really them. They hide in the shadows behind a bunch of lies and lobbyists and secret deals and stuff. And if you could sort of just like outlaw that type of behavior, which really wouldn't be that hard. It's just that we've let it slide for really way too long with big money being involved. But if somebody could come in, you don't need a bunch of guns or nothing. You just need a couple laws that work well and just stop the corruption.
Yeah, the
root. Just a year or two.
The root cause is the media. The whole narrative. If you could break that spell.
Politicians, and things like that go on. Boom. Like we could be in a whole new world.
Yeah, if you can break the spell of the media, their control on reality, the academics, because they're in colleges already, it's too late. That is the thing. If you break that spell, you free everybody, and they can actually start looking at history the right way, because the way I look at it, everything is upside down. Every narrative has been turned on its head. Whites were not the majority slave owners. Blacks are not perpetual victims. World War II did not happen the way they said it did, neither did World War I. Everything is upside down, because that's what the devil does. He doesn't create, he just perverts and distorts.
Yeah, so I mean, we might be right at the breaking point where it's now justified. Like we can morally justify and say, hey, we have the high ground here. We're going to go ahead and create some new laws that ends the fake news. And you guys who love the lies and depend on the lies, you're going to be real mad. But we don't really care anymore because you burned our cities down, and because you kind of like went wild. And now, so what we're going to have to do is create some new boundaries. You can't lie like that anymore. You can't be corrupt anymore, and everybody's just gonna have to deal with that. That might fix everything. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully.
But we'll see what happens. I think it's big surprises pretty soon.
Well, we want to thank you, Mike, for calling in, man.
Yeah, man, that was a good
fun.
little troll, man.
Yeah,
nice little troll.
Amazing trolls.
That was like a good training session for angry people.
Yeah, that could be a little lesson.
Anytime.
There. How to troll and how to overcome.
Cool.
All right, man. Well, don't let the door hit you in the vagina on the way out.
Now go make us some sandwiches.
Brought to you by
Okay, I'll see you down.
Hopefully you make it to the church, brother. Bye.
Brought to you by Terade.
I will see.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Amazing. That was.
If you didn't know, this is Terade.
Terade.
It tastes like Gatorade, but without the gay.
It's our new sponsor. So we got some really good feedback. Everyone was really digging the talk.
How are people reacting to his troll?
They loved it.
When they thought he was real.
Adriana, she's like, is that Mike? So she kind of had a feeling.
That's funny.
Everyone else was like, oh man, that was good. That was good. But that's a great example because that's how they would do it. They would turn it on their head, accuse you of what they're doing. Excellent execution of trolling, Mike.
But you notice as soon as I said that, I think that you are, I think that you're offended because you identify as exactly who we're talking about, like as a woman, in the sense of being emotional and sensitive. That's when he came out like, God, I'm trolling you.
Oh man. Life to the max says, I want some Terade. It's good. It's just better than Gatorade because there's no Gatorade.
But I mean, that's his own preference and his own opinion. Like,
yeah, I'm not scared of Gatorade.
Somebody might like Gatorade more.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I don't have any phobias of Gatorade.
No.
It's just different. Have fun, laugh at things more. If Eddie Murphy can joke about it, we can joke about it. Andres McNeil. That's a great observation, but understand that those boundaries have to be strongly enforced. A boundary is no good if there's nothing to defend it. Exactly. That's my point about Christians being highly intolerant, because you have to be firm and final. The Father is firm. The Father is final. The Father does not bend or break to your whining and complaining. You know, He will just find a way that's appropriate to tell you in the moment. Maybe it's a nice, soft way. Maybe He just smacks you with a Sean Connery slap to wake you up out of your slumber. But the Father is firm. Skills Karma says, one thing's for sure, I'm super curious about Terade now.
I think that could actually be a real successful drink.
That probably would be a smash hit.
I think it'd be at least good to create a little commercial for it, make a little label. If there's any artists out there that want to help us make a Terade label that we can use for the little skit, and it'll be simple.
Yeah, this is like a fellowship effort, so anything you guys got, any good ideas, send it over to the Bros and Cons TV on Instagram. Bros and the letter N, Cons TV on Instagram.
The letter N, not the N word.
Yeah, the letter N, not the N bomb.
Yes.
No periods, dashes, underscores, anything. Let's see.
What's up, Adriana? I heard you were in the chat. I don't get to see the chat, which kind of sucks. So maybe one day, because I sacrificed my phone, my iPhone 11. Got that camera.
Skill says, it's weird when a lot of blacks make good choices and raise families, but still vote left and run CNN and MSNBC.
No, I was thinking that is that it's interesting that the decent, because like, you know, at the end of the day, it's right or wrong, good or evil, you know, and the decent blacks, friends of mine, they almost defend the ones who are not decent, and they identify with them as though because they're black that it could be them. Like I've said this before, that I've seen a lot of posts like, I could be next, my son could be next, but the only way you could be next is if you're committing crimes, and that's like for the most part what's happening. I'm sure there's instances where something could happen where it was just a bad cop that killed someone walking down the street for nothing. But I mean, very rarely will that ever happen. If you look at the stats of the police crimes and how many cops actually die compared to how many innocent civilians or whoever is killed that are unarmed or whatever, it's crazy to think that all this backlash that's happening, anti-police stuff, is even a thing. It's like it's all the media, like you said. It's all blown up and people believe it because someone said it.
We are witnessing the destruction of a country based on pure lies. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, and it's not about hate and pointing it out. It's just look at the numbers. I think it was something like a handful of black folks killed in unarmed confrontations with police, where the majority have witnesses showing that they attacked and they were the aggressor. In 2 cases, I believe the cops were found guilty of unlawful excessive force and are serving time. And then in the last instance, it wasn't as serious, but also they proved that there was, I think, excessive force, but nothing criminal. But it's not. There's no epidemic. It's the illusion. You know, they pick the juiciest bits. We're watching this Jerry Springerification of our lives, and that's what the media is. It's just one big messed up Jerry Springer news show, and they play people. And if you got emotion, you're wrong. Just know that. Don't follow emotional people. Don't trust them. You know that they're bad for your health.
Yeah, it was a lie that you were taught as a young age that a good person feels empathy and feels all kind of things. I used to feel like that. Get it? Feel like that? And I suffer. It accomplishes nothing to have all these feelings. There are natural emotions that you have in life. But the key is to not operate from them and to realize that they're happening, and that you don't make decisions when you have those feelings. You sit back and you be the observer and realize that you've got to overcome that in that moment. And of course you don't want to suppress things, and someone dies, you're going to like, oh, I'm not going to feel anything or whatever, and I'm not saying to do that.
Yeah, relax in it.
Yeah, you relax and you observe and you see that that's not happening. It's not you. It's your body's reaction most of the time. And your soul is not your body.
Right.
So don't sabotage your soul intertwining them.
Skill says, some Mexicans I work with in construction in LA told me when they first came up here and saw Gatorade, they thought it was Gatoade, as in cats.
Nice. Gatorade.
You have Gatorade. Hey, Mr. Wesley. ¿Quién es Gatorade? Crazy that the Jerry Springer days were a simpler time. I mean, they were and they weren't. I mean, everything was simpler 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, but Jerry Springer was a terrible show. I mean, interesting fact, Jerry Springer is also a member of the tribe. You know, it doesn't mean anything, but it shows you.
But everybody knew it was fake. It was like WWF. But it still was promoting bad,
degenerate behavior.
Degenerate things, and it became like entertaining. Because that's how they get you. They get you to start laughing, start thinking something, is entertained by it. And then all of a sudden, it normalizes it.
Speaking of that, how the magic, I was showing him this video of Jimmy Kimmel, the skit where he had 2 kids on there and he was making them kiss, but he just kept there was no skit. It was just him saying, "No, kiss your brother. No, kiss him on the cheek.
And then he
kiss him again."
He added canned laughter to trick your mind. If you ever noticed those TV shows that used to play the laughter because they had to tell you, okay, laugh now.
Yeah, now
okay,
you laugh.
and then you're like, oh yeah, that's funny, huh? If you ever watch those things without the laughter, it's not funny.
It's creepy.
I was trying to find my laughter.
But yeah, there it is.
No,
They
that's
just
the audience.
that's the audience.
Where is it?
That. They put that throughout the skit so that you think, oh, that's funny, now I laugh.
What's funnier? It's Terade without the gay. Or it's Terade, Gatorade without the gay.
It's all magic.
Do you know why? Because laughter is contagious. And so when you hear and see someone else laugh, you start laughing too. You ever heard someone just keep laughing and all of a sudden you start laughing? It's the way to seduce you. And then once your body starts to laugh and you start to do the same thing, then it gets you. Because you lose yourself in the laughter. And every time you lose yourself in anything, in food, in sex, in alcohol,
in pot,
drugs, or whatever it is, you escape, it has you, So the goal is to just be aware when you're being pulled into losing yourself.
Yeah, like in the old days, you see the guy smoking a cigarette while he's fixing something, but he's not focused on the cigarette. He's focusing on the engine. He's doing that. Dude, be observant. Don't be that guy who's like Jesse jokes about, like, oh, I can't wait to smoke this, and you go up into your head and you start thinking about, man, it smells so good, and you're just thinking and thinking and thinking.
It's your autopilot is going, and you're just doing it. And a lot of people live their life like that throughout the whole day, not even aware of what they're doing. They're just doing it while they're living in their head about stuff. I was like that for a long time. I still battle it, but I'm overcoming because I'm aware of it, and that's the best thing. Like, for example, Richard. Doesn't he look funny? Richard got a girlfriend.
So we do have the phone line open. What's that number for these fine folks?
888-308-5559.
So we'd love to hear from anyone who's new. We got Gigi in the chat. Schmitty is here. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
Too late or too early?
Oh.
It was an intro. I got some dank ass weed. When you're broken, your buds are all gone, and you're miles and miles from a pipe and a bone. You just remember about that old weed song, son. I got some dank ass weed. I got some dank ass weed. I got some dank ass weed.
Skill says that Jerry Springer and Howard Stern were 2 of the grossest dudes in the 90s, and now they're looked at as wise, lovable grandpa figures. Yeah, they're degenerates. Like, I listened to Howard Stern and it was funny because I didn't know any better, but they're degenerates. Like, You can't ride two horses at once, and that's what they want you to do, is to be desensitized to what's degenerate and laugh at it. And it's a slow creeping effect until one day you wake up and you got pedophiles walking around with children as their boyfriends and girlfriends, and it's totally normal and accepted. That's what they want. Hell on earth.
Who knows what song this is?
You guys remember the commercial number jingles? Stone Cold, says Schmitty.
Schmitty knows.
Schmitty knows.
His super chats are shitty. In the chat, always litty.
Oh, hell yeah! Can I get a hell yeah? I loved it when he would do the.
And that's the bottom line, because
Yeah,
Stone
really.
Cold says so.
Oh, hell yeah!
What if those caps were loose and he accidentally splashed in?
That would have been epic.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, Stone Cold was a badass. He was my favorite wrestlers.
Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H.
Yeah, The Rock, after he found his attitude, because when he first came out, he was
I'm
Rocky
not
Maivia.
talking about Rocky Maivia over here. What's his name was funny too? Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid.
I'm no sexy.
I got the moves that drive all the girls wild.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
Sweet chin music. That was the best.
Now, his favorite was Gold Dust.
Oh yeah. And that's the bottom line.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. And he'd flip them off
Yeah.
in their face. The Stone Cold Stunner was probably one of the classic finishers that you'd ever see.
It was such a quick action, boom to the gut.
I do that to my friends in middle school. I'd come up behind them when they were walking, and they had their backpacks on, and I would just Stone Cold stun them all the time.
He's like a super based American, last I heard. Stone Cold is pretty awesome.
I don't know, actually, now that you say that, because I saw a tweet, I don't know if it was real,
Oh no.
but it was talking about he was defending, he was part of the whole movement that's going on.
He
right
posted
now,
a black square.
basically.
And that's the bottom line.
But I mean, he's probably, because his whole character is that he's a redneck, he's probably like trying to like overcompensate and be like, I swear, I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not, and he even said it, that's the bottom line at the end of it.
Of course. Such a panderer. Can I get a hell yeah? Yeah. Remember Goldust?
That's why I said Gold Dust. I said your favorite character is Gold Dust. If you look back on it, you're like, whoa, that guy is something.
Hulk and Elizabeth. Elizabeth was
How
hot.
did his theme song go?
I think it's our boy Lucas Reese. Lucas Reese, you're on the air, my friend.
Hey, what's up, Trevor? What's up, everyone?
What's up,
Beard
buddy?
man.
What's cracking, Luke?
Hey, I just wanted to ask you guys. I was gonna call Jesse because it just popped up this question in my head. I was gonna ask Jesse tomorrow morning, and then also Hank.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask: is there a time to not tell the truth? Is there ever a time to not tell the truth?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if someone's gonna come break into your house and be like, "Where's your family?" Are you gonna tell them the truth? Because you're like, "Oh, I love Jesus, I can't lie," and then you tell them where your family is and they get murdered. I think there's definitely a time to not tell the truth.
Hell yeah, you don't want to be telling everybody your business. Something.
Especially like even in relationships, you know how Jesse says, "Don't share your weaknesses or your problems."
With women.
Yeah, like you're holding back the truth that in a lot of different ways. You are able to protect people. It's a protection thing in a certain way.
Right, because like for example with women, the reason why you don't tell them is not because
Yeah.
something's
No.
wrong with you, but if you
No.
tell them, you let the devil in because he always works on their ego. So if you give them something from your past that they can't
Now,
handle,
wait.
he'll get in their head,
Yeah, but-
and then she'll start judging you for it.
What's that?
No, yeah. I understand that part of it, but now take away the criminal aspect of it. Now, is there a time to not tell the truth? Like, and take away the like if somebody comes in the house or all that stuff, because I've had several people and get angry and mad at me in the past couple of days, and all I say is, and I tell them, and two of the four people that have got mad at me, I say, hey, I'm just trying to tell you the truth. And two totally, completely calm, like on my part. But they've told me, sometimes you shouldn't speak the truth. You shouldn't say the truth, like, because it offends them or it makes them mad.
No, I think that it's
what about that aspect?
I think it's your own discernment in the right situations, and I don't want to create hypotheticals, but it's like, you don't just walk up to someone, tap on their shoulder, and say, "Hey, you're fat." Yeah. You know what I mean, and tell them the truth, like they are. But there is a certain time of discretion to I know for myself, it's like I don't want to offer my honesty and my humble opinion when it wasn't asked.
Yeah.
Like when people come to you and ask you for certain things,
you tell them
the truth. That's when you can really tell them, but don't impose it on them.
It's like a Christmas dinner. I had a Christmas dinner after I had met Jesse, and I don't plan on talking about stuff. I know that I'm the outcast in the family. They think I'm nuts, and my brother's father-in-law asked me what I thought about, I think it was Hillary Clinton and all this other stuff going on. So he wanted my opinion, knowing full well where I stand on these issues. So I talked about it, and I was, also comfortable, we're joking, but I can see that everyone else who was listening in started getting upset and emotional, looking at me like I'm the problem, and then they pulled me aside and said, "Why would you start talking about that?"
But see, that's why I would say in those situations, I'd be like, before I even said what I thought, I'd be like, "Well, you're not gonna like what I think, so I probably shouldn't say." And pick your battles, because then it's a lose-lose situation. And if they got mad at you for sharing after they asked you, then it's like, then you tell the truth about that. Well, I wouldn't have shared if you didn't ask.
Yeah, I mean, if they ask me, I'm going to tell them. I don't believe in disclaimers any longer. I'm done with disclaimers.
But if it's a lose-lose battle, what's the point?
Well, because I don't see it as a battle. It's just honesty. And then maybe they never invite me to another Christmas again, and so be it. It'll just show that they're the ones who are emotional and don't know who people are. They judge you. So say la vie.
Well, I just believe that, you just, like, I disagree in some parts about how you feel, but, like, I just say, how I feel is just, whenever I know the truth, I'm not going to let someone, scare me, put me down, try to belittle me. I'm just going to say, hey, this is the truth. You like it or not, but I'm always going to say it. I'm not going to try to convince anyone. I'm not going to try to, attack anyone or be angry about it. But I don't know. I believe that there is never a time to not speak the truth. You always, if you have to speak the truth, you speak it, no matter what circumstances or situation. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
That's cool. I mean, you're allowed to do that, and of course, I'm an advocate for the truth. But you ask if there's ever a time to not tell the truth, and I just think there is definitely a time to tell the truth and a time to not tell the truth.
Right. I wouldn't go walk into this mob in a big city and try and start telling them, most blacks hate whites.
Yeah, I mean,
just to get my butt beat.
There's a video of a guy that walked into a group of people who was trying to, he had the best of intentions.
Yeah, trying to be nice.
And they beat him almost to death.
So, that's where the wrong time to be honest. You gotta be smart.
So, but that's why I don't.
Yeah, but the truth about that, about the guy dying, wait, are you talking about the guy with the knee on his neck?
I don't know. No. I'm talking about just a bystander, a citizen that was,
trying to reason with the mob.
He was like a business owner that came out.
Oh yeah. A bunch of bystanders are being killed. I don't know if you guys watch InfoWars, but yeah, a bunch of bystanders being killed, and a lot of blacks too. But nobody's talking about that, about Black Lives Matter. I don't believe in that bull.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that.
I guess it's on you. Like if you just have to take on those situations and reflect and be like, man, did telling the truth in that situation help me or anyone else? And that's what it comes down to is your own discernment to know when it's right and when it's not. But of course, most of the time, it's going to be the right to be honest.
Yeah, just like it says, sometimes it's revealed. Just don't go out don't be a preacher or a Bible thumper, because that's where the ego takes over, and that's where a lot of people get the wrong idea. Like they meet Jesse and they want to turn around and think they're gonna go wake people up and be some white knight. It's like, chill out, be an observer, and the right times will be revealed to you when you should be honest, in the way that's true to your actual identity, which you're just now getting back once you forgive people.
Yeah, you're right. All right, well, hey, thank you, Trevor. I just wanted to ask that question. I'm going to call tomorrow Jesse and Hake. I want to ask them. I didn't get to get on today, but yeah, I just wanted to ask that question. Because a lot of people recently have been asking me that. Telling me that you don't have to speak the truth all the time. And I'm just like, you know what? That's a good question.
Hey Lucas, I remember you said that you're out in Alhambra and stuff, and I know it's pretty diverse over there, so you got to keep your head on a double swivel. How has it been? Have you felt like more calm despite like just walking around fearless, not worried?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Fear nothing, man. You just don't put yourself in dumb situations. Always be prepared, but don't have not even one drop of fear. That lets the devil in.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. No, yeah. Fear is just there's no need for it either. You know, like I realize about fear is that whenever you don't have it, you know, it's because the fear just comes from your thoughts. But whenever you don't have it, it's so easy to not have it. It's something that you just create. It just manifests in your brain, and then you just, I'm just scared all of a sudden. It's literally all about your thoughts. So that's really the biggest thing that I love about Jesse that he taught me about. You know, that all your thoughts are not you. That was mind blowing when I heard him say that, and I started thinking about it more. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree, man.
But yeah.
Well, thank you, bro. I appreciate calling in and supporting, brother.
Thank you, Lucas.
I'll be listening and seeing what their reply, what Hake and Jesse's response is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say I always wake up 5:30 and anyways every morning, so I'm gonna wake up early, try to get on, and then yeah. All right. Thank you guys for having me on, man.
All right, man.
I really love your show. I'm gonna keep watching.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Lucas.
it, man.
Bye.
Hey, have a good.
Amazing.
What an asshole! No, I'm just kidding. My mom used to always do that. She'd like be talking to her friend or something, like, you know, they'd be laughing, have a great time, and then hang up and be like, that bitch. Like, just because of the shock value of things. I've always been that way too. I guess maybe it's the mother in me.
Yeah, like if you're at eating out, Jerome would be like, the waiter would come, and he was like, you guys want any more stuff? He's like, yeah, let's have more coffee. And then he walks away and goes, now get out of here.
Now beat it.
Now beat it.
No, yeah.
But it's all in good fun. But women are like that. Remember that meme where it shows how guys talk about their friends? They're like, the guy in front of each other, they're like, you're an idiot, you're a dumbass. And then when they leave, they're like, that's a solid dude. And with girls, it's the opposite. They're like, hey girl. And when they leave, they're like, that bitch.
Yeah. Guys will hang out with each other and talk crap to their face, and then behind their backs they'll speak the world. And then women, they'll be nice to their face, and then behind their backs they'll just trash.
Just trash each other. Yeah, catty. Question from Skills. He says, Rich, you think Jesse would ever have Eddie Bravo in a fallen state?
I love that guy.
I love it. Dude, look into it. Look into it.
Look into it, man.
Look into it, man. I'm just saying, just look into it. Dude, Eddie Bravo's amazing. He believes in flat Earth. He knows about World War II.
He's like, he believes in flat Earth. I love Eddie Bravo.
You know, he questions the World War II narrative. The dude knows a lot, you know? He's amazing.
Well, I wouldn't even say, I mean, of course I would imagine he knows a lot, but I don't like him because I think he knows a lot. I like him because he is unafraid to think for himself, you know?
Exactly.
Like, he has ideas. You know what I'm saying?
Lin Yen Chin is in the chat.
Lin Yen Chin.
Long time no see.
Lin Yen Chin. Lin Chin. Not by the hairs of my Lin Chinny Chin Chin.
He says, every lie is based on truth. Evil knows truth so well it can spawn believable lies from it. Well, it's true. The devil knows the Bible inside and out. The devil knows the Bible better than any of us.
Do you?
I do. But yeah, it's amazing. That's why you can't let the ego in, because the devil is more cunning and more craftier than you could ever think you are. You know, he is the ultimate con man.
Are you?
Seth Evan Rude, the guy from Salem, Oregon, he's working on a Zamboni right now.
On what?
A Zamboni.
What's a Zamboni?
The ice machine that goes over the ice rink.
Oh, nice.
And puts some new ice down. That's amazing.
That immediately brought a thought into my head, which is a lie, of Happy Gilmore? Remember when he went on the thing, and that old guy was like cleaning and stuff, and he was like the helper?
Wasn't that the date night he had with her?
Yeah. It's only just begun. What was the song that he sang on there in that scene? Or was it a special song? I don't remember.
Skill says Eddie is base beyond belief. Yeah, dude, that guy has balls. He's not scared. He doesn't let Joe Rogan, anybody punk him. He's his own man, which is what we should all be. Oh, it's for cleaning floors, though, not ice. Oh, well that's okay. It's not as cool as the ice one. I honestly don't care about the shape. Doesn't really affect me in the slightest. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but it could be penis.
Shape of the Earth.
Shape of the Earth. Oh yeah, true.
No, that's how I feel, you know. But I understand the whole idea that if they can convince you to lie about that and set your whole foundation of everything, then everything else that's built on top of it can be is a lie too. And I'm skeptical and I question everything, but I'm definitely one that's like, I don't know.
I mean, to me, everything is just on its head. If you take every official narrative, Earth is round, flip it upside down. It's flat, or it certainly isn't round. You know, World War II, were they the real victims? 6 million? I think not. I think it's a much more different reason than that. Everything is upside down, and just be open to it. Doesn't mean that I can conclude to convince you, nor do I care to convince anybody. But don't go in there with the official narrative that you had no work in creating. You just accepted it, and now you defend it blindly.
Well, the only reason why I lean towards the round Earth is because if I were God and I was going to make a creation, I'd want it to have curves. Because all the creations with curves.
Manny Smith in the chat says flat Earth. That's right, flat Earth. But so
brought to you by Don't Wanna Be a Beta, Beta. Don't wanna be a beta male. I don't wanna be a beta, beta.
Speaking of betas, did you guys see that the mayor of Minneapolis crying his butt off at the...
He cried and tried to pander and get his brownie points and look like, oh, look at me, I'm a good person and I care. And then when he disagreed with them, they were like, get out of here, get out of here.
Get out of here.
Angry people, well, once you disagree, they will turn on you. So
Yeah.
you can only lie and pretend for so long.
That's why you don't take a knee to anybody. You don't bow before anybody. I'll bow to Jesus, and
I'll
that's
bow
it.
to Christ, bow to Lord Jesus.
And even then, I probably won't first. I'll be like, are you really Jesus?
And fleece
You
diapers with your little diapers, your 8-pound Jesus with, you know.
Yeah, don't be such a weak man. It's pathetic. Like Trevor says, he's not anti-Semitic. He's what?
Antipathetic.
That's right. Be anti-pathetic. Yeah, bye Jacob. Yeah, it's amazing. Such a baby. That fake crying, you know, and like you jump your shoulders up and down. So silly. All these people crying out.
I used to know someone that laughed like that.
I'll need to watch him do the shuffle. Oh my god, I think I showed him the video.
Oh man, that was cringy.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of that word, but that is the definition of cringe.
Right. There's certain times I'll use it, and it's definitely one of those times.
Only because I get tired of all the Groypers and all these Nick Fuentes fans, and I like Nick at first, but then he showed he's a real beta. Still lives at home with his mama, and what he has is an army of intellectual kids who know what conservatism might be and can define things, but they're all still intellectual and they're ridiculous. There's no love there. It's just like a supremacy of knowledge. Yeah, what a baby. Beta-raid. Beta! So, in other news, they're going to get rid of the police station, or the police force in Minneapolis.
See how that works out.
And then,
What's funny is that, what are they calling it? They're basically recreating the same thing, calling it something else, because that's what they like to do nowadays. They like to redefine everything, but it's the same. What are they calling it now? Public... what was the word they used?
like public watch or something?
Yeah,
or
it was like a public safety program or something like that, right? And the police are the public.
And I've also heard, there's already been reports that the nonprofit behind the push for this, it's called like Local Matters or something. It's a George Soros funded program. You know, those sneaky little small hats. Not all of them, but it is interesting how many of these elite ones, these powerful ones, are behind these ridiculous movements. You know, it's amazing. Yeah, no cops in Minneapolis. It's crazy, and there's been like mass retiring. Like cops are leaving the force, and I don't blame them. They're getting their money cut, their pay cut. They're not getting any respect. They get written up and investigated for crimes against criminals because they're scared of the media calling them racist and police brutality and all that nonsense. So they don't want to do the job. People are ungrateful for them. And it sucks.
It's a crime to be a police officer.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you just see how bad it gets when there's no cops and there's less cops on the force. Just watch how the crimes. It's going to be a huge crime wave, worse than anyone can imagine. That's why if you're in a city, I'm with Matt from Indiana. Get the hell out of the cities. Gigi it says Romans 14:11. It is written, quote, "As surely as I live."
There was a really hot
Says
girl
the
in my
Lord.
high school named Gigi.
It's always a hot girl's name, Gigi. I've never met an ugly Gigi.
I haven't met too many Gigis before, but that's why I was thinking that one girl from high school. 'Cause that's the only Gigi I ever known besides the old school movie.
Yeah, Gigi. It just sounds kind of hot, Gigi. She said, the verse is, "As surely as I live, says the Lord, every knee will bow before me, every tongue will acknowledge God."
So if they would end up getting public watchers, then the song I will sing when I call for their help will be, "I need someone who..."
Yeah, bro, something about that name. A girl's named Gigi. Are
Just
usually
like
hot.
my dad always says, he's like, "I've never met an ugly Kelly. Like Kelly is a name of, I mean, it's a more common name than Gigi, but no, was it Kelly? No, it was Ashley. That's what he said, Ashley.
Yeah, it's a very like white, cute girl name.
But I mean, I'm sure they exist. But when you think of these certain names like Kelly, Ashley,
Yeah.
you instantly think of hot girls, and maybe that's just the preference of perversion in our minds that we just choose to think of hot girls. But
George Floyd
it's all a lie.
Gigi replacing Kobe Gigi. I don't get it. But don't forget, guys, we've got an open call line, 818-308-5559. Give us a call.
308-5559.
You got questions, comments, we're here to talk about interesting, hard topics, so feel free. Just leave the anger, watch the potty mouth, no cussing, don't be a woman. Thank you, Smitty. Smitty dropped the number in the chat there, so if any first-time callers, we'd love to hear from you guys. I know we got a couple regulars, but let's see if we can get some first-time callers. Maybe Gigi, possibly hot girl Gigi.
Well, now she's got something to live up to, so maybe she
Kobe's daughter that
Schmitty.
That's why Kobe's daughter that died is Gigi. Okay, I forgot about that. And Floyd's daughter's name is Gigi. How interesting is that?
Gee whiz.
Wow, all kinds of weird stuff with these people, man. These Masons. Look up the Boule Foundation, Boule, the Boule. These are like the Black Freemasons. Back in the days, I think it was mostly all gay black men.
Is it like Michael Boule?
Michael Boule. He sings Christmas songs. But yeah, it's like the Freemasons for blacks.
Someone who... That's what you're going to have to do when you need the watchers, when you need Ben Stiller and the whole Night Watch people to come for you. Be like, "I'm sorry, sir, we only have pepper spray. That's all we can do. We can't help you here. That's all we can do."
Sharia law's coming to Minnesota. It sure is,
You
bro.
mean Sharia?
It's crazy how people, they're infiltrating, like, mass immigration has always been a tool to destabilize a nation.
You know what I say? It's the right tool for every job, okay?
So get yourself some tools.
With this job, do you feel nervous right now?
No, I feel perfectly at peace.
If someone came behind me, I go, "Bow!"
You go how? Bow! Bow!
Are you saying bow or pow?
Unknown caller.
Why did it say it fast?
I don't
Twice. It said it twice fast.
know. Seth.
Five.
What's up, Seth? Hey, Seth.
What's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah. Pretty good.
Come to your phone, Seth. It's a little low.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Good. Is that Verizon?
I think it's T-Mobile.
What's the word, man?
I don't even know if they're called T-Mobile anymore. But anyway, I talked to my uncle the other day.
Unk.
And he has a big farm in Washington. It's probably like 2,000 acres or more. He grows onions and green beans and grass seed and sweet corn and field corn. And anyway, and my grandpa lives there too, my uncle and his wife and his kids. And his kids work on the farm. They hire a lot of illegal immigrant Mexicans to work there. And I actually used to work there every summer since I was
probably about 10 or 11 years old. I worked there every summer for 3 months. And then once I graduated high school, I worked there for 2 years straight. But anyway, these guys are classic conservative guys. You know, what you would have thought of as just conservative 10 years ago. Just normal conservative guys.
Normal conservatives that are hiring illegal immigrants?
Yeah, I mean, conservatives aren't generally... I mean, I guess probably half of them are against illegal immigration, but there's lots of conservatives who aren't.
Yeah, I mean, but those are the weak examples, and I get it though. But it's they're not being
they'll get a job done that's cheaper.
Right. Exactly.
That fiscal conservative.
So anyway, I remember his kids got in trouble at school because they called some Mexican kids workers. Like, you're a worker.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's true. Sure, I'm a worker too.
Yeah, I'm a worker.
I'm a labor worker. So, but I wouldn't take offense.
I like working girls.
Also, I remember my grandpa. He got me and my brothers a Nintendo Wii when it came out one Christmas. And you know the Wii boxing. There's the white guy and the black guy boxing usually.
I haven't played it, but I like boxing games.
Oh, it was just it was like one of the most common Wii sports games, Wii boxing. Anyway, and my grandpa saw me and my brother boxing, and he's like, "Hey, who's the end?" And he's like, "I'm rooting for the white guy." So that just gives you kind of an idea of what they were like, anyway, or the kind of the view I had of them. You know, classic conservatives, they're not like race sensitive. They hire Mexicans because they're cheap. They teach their kids that the Mexicans are workers. Anyway, since about the last 5 years is 5 years ago is when I left the farm after the 2 years that I worked there. And since then, I haven't talked to them very much, but I started talking to them again recently, and they're just way off base.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, say your uncle, right? Your uncle said, "I'm rooting for the white guy." That's a lot of situations. That's the easiest way to describe how someone looks, to know who you're talking about. You know, but I feel like these days people might hear that and they might be offended by it and be like, "What do you mean? Why would you?" It's like, who was playing for the white guy? Was that you, or was it the computer? Or, you know,
right.
You never really know.
But
who...
my grandpa, he literally didn't care. He wasn't rooting for one of us. He just wanted to root against the black guy.
Right.
But but he was joking. He didn't have that in his heart,
for sure. It's just like, it's like me. Like, I say stuff sometimes just to get a reaction from people, to shock them, because it's funny to, like, even like girls I've dated, like, and I will always say like something crazy, so they'd like be like, "Oh," and then I laugh at them because I'm like, I just like your reaction. It's funny.
Yeah, totally. I think that's exactly what he was doing. But since then, I mean, he wasn't sensitive about anything. The last time I talked to him, it was like I was watching a CNN monologue, but it was coming out of my grandpa's mouth. My old grandpa who said the N-word, and it's just so, works like 16 hours a day, breaking his back on the farm, and never was handed anything. He had like 50 acres given to him, which wasn't uncommon to have your dad give you 50 acres 100 years ago.
Right.
You know?
You pass it on to your kids.
And he was given 50 acres, and he turned it into a giant empire of like 2,000 acres, and processing plants and packaging plants and $500,000 tractors, a whole fleet of them, and harvesting and combines and everything. You know, so just the fact that it's penetrated even his mind. I mean, he watches Fox News, and that's why, because Fox News has been totally liberalized, and they basically, they're one step behind the Democrats. It's like that's their job.
Right. It's part of the same coin. It's still controlled opposition, with the exception of I think Tucker Carlson. Pretty much, he's the only one I like on there because he's not controllable and he does call things out. But no one should be don't love anything so much at all, and you don't believe it just because it's Fox News is supposedly conservative that everything's right. And just like you pointed out, with having family that is, quote unquote conservative, but they're not living a perfect example. They're hiring illegal immigrants. They're part of the problem. Just like I have family, my dad's side, the white side, is the same way. They would be classically conservative in their minds, but they are weak on so many important issues that they do a disservice to what conservatism should be, and what it means to conserve values and conserve this country and what made it great.
Yeah. I just thought that's pretty crazy, and I just wonder what we should do exactly to try and change their minds, or I guess maybe some of this contention is kind of opening up the eyes, because it seems like some normal conservatives are waking up now,
Yeah, I think that most of the world is, which is good, because they're not waking up because someone told them to. It's because they're starting to see for themselves.
Right. Yeah. And I was talking to my uncle too, and I was even more freaked out. Well, I guess I don't know which is more freaky, but my old grandpa being like liberal, love the world, Mandela guy, or my uncle, he was saying some things that kind of sounded like Q-ish, you know Q, the secret guy behind the whole thing.
Was that a question?
Yeah, I'm wondering if you guys have ever heard of Q.
Oh yeah. I follow a bunch of stuff about that, and I've known about it for some years. But it's interesting. I still don't get pulled into that stuff to believe it. I just wait and see,
no. Yeah, I think you'd have to. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm being rude here, but I think you'd have to be kind of, especially at this point, so dumb to believe that.
Yeah,
And,
I think
anyway,
believing in anything that you heard or said without knowing for yourself is a trap. Like, I'm entertained by it. I like hearing different perspectives, but I'm not gonna just believe it.
Yeah, it's baseless. It's from these random forum posts, and they mix forum posts to random Twitter posts and whatever, and sometimes it's nonsense. You look at the people who follow it, they type these, 10-page, all caps, totally random, rants.
Well, every time there's a big crisis or something crazy happens, they're like, "Don't worry, it's part of the plan."
Yeah.
Do
nothing.
So
Do nothing.
my uncle was saying that. That's what freaked me out. I'm like, dude, he probably runs a $20 million operation, and he's saying trust the plan, talking about Hillary's emails, and I'm not denying that she's a child procurer. I believe that actually, but just being in the mindset of it's all part of the plan to reveal the Hillary's emails. I'm like, dude, how are we? I thought I was gonna talk to him, get back in contact with him, and look up to him, and he would invite me out and teach me to shoot. They train police on their farm how to shoot, and they have gun range days where all the cops come out and shoot at the farm. And I thought he was, I guess he did go into town with a gun when the riots were going on, him and all his farm buddies. So that's good. I'm glad to hear that. But yeah, it was just really freaky that it's okay, well, I feel way I'm 10 steps ahead of whatever he's thinking, at least.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be 10 steps ahead of me. He's 45 years old. I'm 27.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question for you, since you're on the Q stuff, and I've been following that for years. And, always been into conspiracy theories and whatnot. But are you allowing yourself to sit back and let this idea that someone else is doing all the work for you be important to you, or do you live your life?
Well, he's against it. He's saying that his uncle is all like that, and he's always he's crazy for buying into it.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah. I would just say, just keep preparing. I allow for it. I picture 2 case files in my head. One case file for the Q thing, and the case file for what I see right in front of my eyes. And I'm just gonna build them both. It'd be great. Maybe it does happen. And
I am leaning towards it. Building the part of the plan is to get Hillary to expose herself, but she does have a court date in September. I'm excited for that.
Oh well, that would be.
Yeah,
that would be wonderful. I just feel like it's almost a distraction, like a boomer distraction. The emails, the Q looking for the cryptic messaging in these tweets, and it's like, no, you guys, there are people being killed. They're like, we're about to become the next Rotherham, where we're having like thousands of our daughters being raped, and the police not doing anything about it because they don't want to be called racist.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
And like my uncle, a guy who hosts police shooting training and runs a multi-million-dollar operation, is buying into that like crap.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, man. Too many people are just
Where
cheerleading for
I've
it.
just been asking myself, where are the adults? Where are the men?
Exactly.
And you remember my first call? I had a thing about Jesse Lee, but dude, that was way off, because he's the only guy out there who's saying, where are the men? This is how the men need to be. Men need to stand up. You know, no matter whether you disagree with one thing he says here or there, he's the. I mean, and you guys are saying it, but you guys are like, you know, you're one of his followers. We're his followers, but he's like the guy out there.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're saying things Jesse might not say, but in our own way, or maybe the same kind of way, or whatever. You know, it's like, I'm not trying to parrot and say exactly what he says. I just can see for myself, and I think even Jesse, you know, he was attracted to this guy named Roy Masters, who said a lot of the similar things in the same foundation and principles, but Jesse delivers it in his own way, and he's grown into his own identity based off of the same values, but he's able to deliver it in his own way. And, you know, Jesse doesn't say, oh, I learned from Roy Masters and all this stuff, because you never want to, like, you know, point it to another man to another leader. You know, it's always pointed back to God, because God's the one that's actually causing the revelations and you know, helping people see, you know?
Yeah, what's true is true, and it resonates. You just know, it when you hear it. And like you said, the root issue is men, you know, just like the people who want to believe that, you know, like all Jewish people are the problem. It's not the case, and all blacks are not hateful, and all whites are not you know, hateful towards races. Like, it's not all. But like, what is the root issue here? It's always been and has been the weakness of men falling for the lies, falling for women, letting women rule, and that out of orderness that came out of Adam and Eve. It all goes back to that. So either men get with the program and start being firm, be hot or cold, don't be lukewarm, and we can change the world. But until that, bitching about everything else doesn't do anything. You know, like, be a man.
Yeah, you can't blame.
Yeah, just be a man. Be aware of stuff, but be a man first, because, you know, we have to change what we inherited. Stop being, you know, the fallen Adam and falling for the manipulative Eve.
I didn't know. She told me to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the guys who are older than us are the ones who handed it all away. So we definitely can't count on them.
Yeah.
You count on no man. You only count on God.
You can't count on anybody. You know, there's a lot of people that I thought that I could count on growing up, and then it wasn't a couple of years ago I realized that it was a lie. That it was all imaginary thoughts in my mind, and boxing people in my brain and being like, yeah, these people are cool, this is that. And then it was expectations I created, and then I was disappointed when I found out that it wasn't true. So now I'm just like, man, I'm cool. I love everybody, but I don't trust anybody, and I wait until it's revealed. If someone shows that they're trustworthy, cool, I trust you while you're trustworthy. As soon as you lose the trust, then it's like, all right, I don't trust you. But it doesn't mean I won't forgive somebody or give them another chance. But there is a point where you're like, all right, you've proven time and time again, you're Satan's child.
Yeah, you have to have eyes. It's a spiritual thing. Keep your eye. The better you get at observing, you can see the spirit that they're serving. And that's all that really matters. And that's like how he says, like, I can forgive somebody, and they could change. I could see them again later in life, and they're serving the right spirit, and that's good.
Yeah.
But you won't be able to see that if you don't overcome yourself. You'll be blind. So, but once you can see, man, it's easy.
But dude, thanks for calling, man, and I appreciate it, bro. If you ever want to come to church and hang.
Yeah, or if we go up to Oregon, we'll hit you up.
Cool. Let's do it.
We'll go drive around and call people betas.
Do it.
Sounds good. Sometimes me and my kid drive around and she'll want me to roll the window down and just yell, COVID-19! Up the window.
I roll down the window and I say, Dad? And then everyone looks like they're missing their son.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, have a good show. See you.
Thanks,
Bye,
man.
Seth.
What time is it?
9:45. See if we got another caller before we begin to wind this down. Randall E is in the chat. He says, please have Trevor set up some mics so we can hear y'all a little better. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, Randall. We're slowly, we have the super chats, and I think YouTube holds it for 30 days before we can access it. And then they take a giant cut, but we're going to use all the donations that everyone sent to us to get the equipment, get the microphones, and improve the show and the stream. So we really appreciate it. All those super chats are definitely well appreciated.
Remember, you don't wanna be a beta. You wanna be a beta male.
Oh, we got it's Mr. Bang.
Oh, Emmanuel.
What's up, brother? I'm so glad you called. This is our brother Emmanuel from church. He black.
He black. Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
What's your last name? Is it Bang?
My name's Emmanuel.
That was good.
Emmanuel Bang.
That was really good.
Yeah, you got to use that on your wife.
On the conversation.
What's the word, man?
Oh, not much, man. I'm just like chilling outside. Nice. Koreatown.
Koreatown.
Oh, nice. Yeah, outside it was a nice day today, man. We got a little wind and it was hot, so it was cool.
Yeah, it feels great right now. I didn't go outside today.
Yeah, we had lunch or kind of late lunch earlier.
Yeah, I saw those pictures. I need to sit in the booth.
Oh, it was winning, bro.
Panini,
Panini Cafe, bro.
Oh, yeah, so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that one out too. I just need somebody to tell me, table or booth.
Right.
I'll be happy with that. Just see human contact, because that's what kind of draws people away now. People want crazy.
Right. And now that we're allowed to have human contact, it's like, who's gonna be insane and nuts? It's like you're still like away from people because everybody's so lost. Hopefully that's why I'm looking forward to the men's meetings and going to church and meet like-minded people that are just like not sucked into this world.
Yeah, and look, and that was the thing, because I was with the last caller, and it was talking about Q, because even looking at the people that follows Q and that post Q, most of them like emotional. They still have like attachment issues. It's something even with the Q movement. Like I understand the benefit of it. You know how like you say you in between, but like a lot of them are like emotional and angry.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all ego. They think they know more than everybody, that they got the scoop, and that they're like waking people up, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't know, and I'm telling you, I've been doing this for years." It's like at some point you're
it's
like,
condescending. It's just it's pure ego, and it's fine to share something that's interesting. Like, oh yeah, look at this! What an interesting little coincidence. But to become some kind of Q thumper, you're no better than the Christians who Bible thump.
Yeah. But it's like, even with the Q stuff, it's like most of the stuff that they talk about, it's kind of like the stuff we already talked about, like even with 9/11, like all the conspiracy theories that was out there. It's just kind of like he's kind of confirming those theories. That
Right.
Even the things that I watched back in the day, because I was big into conspiracy theories, like right after 9/11. It was like everything is a lie, which it is. Everything that they tell you is a lie.
So Emmanuel, you are probably next to Jesse and Joel, you are just a great example of how what the media doesn't want people to know, that there are black men out there who don't buy these nonsense narratives and think for themselves and don't identify with their skin color over people's character. What are your thoughts about everything that's been happening from the George Floyd incident to what we see now with these riots taking over our cities.
Basically, what he's asking is did you post a little black square in your Instagram?
No, I didn't do that. Yeah, I stood out of that because I knew something was up because even when they were talking about like they were connecting him to like the Masons and all these symbols and that twin kept popping up because that's all I made the post. I was saying they were replacing Gigi with his Gigi, you know, because he has a daughter named Gigi. But if you check out the twins' Instagram,
you talking about the Hodge twins?
No, George Floyd has a twin.
It's like Steven Jackson. I think that's what his name is.
Oh, okay.
If you go to his actual Instagram, he's like inserting himself like he's the father. It's weird how even if you look at his Instagram, he's like holding the daughter, making it seem like he's the father. It's really strange if you like look at his Instagram. But like, you know, going back to the question, it's more of like I grew up on like in Chicago. Because they talked about the number one topic was gun violence. They never talked about police brutality. That wasn't in the conversation, you know, back in 2009, like around when that's when I graduated high school. And the thing is that it was gun violence because people were getting shot every day. Like I lived in Inglewood, and I knew friends. People died every day. You know, people got shot every day. And it was like a normal cause. Because you see balloons. Every time I walk outside, I see balloons. That's when people get shot. And nobody had protests. There was nothing. Like, it was probably one guy. It was a white man. He was in the church, and he always had protests for the black lives that was lost to gang violence. He was the only one. No news coverage. None. And nobody talked about that.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's like, I brought it up with a friend, too, because I'm trying to get her to understand, like, police brutality is not the thing. It's the childhood trauma.
Right.
No, yeah, for
and it's
sure.
the trauma that we grew up with, and then everything else is added. It's like kind of like the snowball effect. It just keeps getting bigger. So the problems start out small, but it gets bigger as you get older.
For sure, and like the race baiter, like Al Sharpton's and Jesse Jackson and Maxine Waters. It's like they're riling a lot of people up because why would they want to cure it's like a therapist. Why would you want to cure your patient? Your money will stop coming in. So they don't want to help the community. They make it look like they do by getting them all angry, which you already know. But it's just, it blows my mind that people can't see it, that they're being played and they're, getting them, and it's like they're chicken hawks. They're like getting them all riled up and then having them go do all the work while they go in their rich mansions and they just collect money.
Yeah, they sitting in the comforts of their home on Twitter talking about, oh, we need to fight the police, we need to fight justice. And they're sitting in their home, nice kitchen, nice house,
right,
comfortable, you have security, everything. Like they were talking about Gavin Newsom's home. Like he has no solar panels, but you push everybody else to get solar panels. Like it's just, messed up how you just see what the people in power would do to the people that's at the bottom, even middle class. So like then everybody's kind of affected because you got these crazy politicians putting out these dumb laws. It just seems like it's like everything's kind of set up, and it's set up to fail.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
It's absolutely true. What do you think? With you're obviously not emotional about these things. You've also found Jesse and overcome your parents. What do you see, and how are you preparing with the possibility? With all the stuff you know about Q and all the stuff that we just see in front of our faces. What do you think might be shaping up for us leading up to the elections in November?
I haven't really thought about it. I'm just really enjoying the moment now. But even looking at the situation, I just feel like it can probably only get worse. Because it just seems like everything was kind of set up. Every situation, it seems like even the COVID thing felt like a setup. Because it just seemed like you shut down the country, you make the mask mandatory when you already banned masks back in 2017. But now the masks are mandatory, and that's how people can get out and cover their face and destroy property. So it's like a lot of people it's a lot of things you have to look into.
Right.
And you have to dig deep into these things because most of the time you just see the surface. A lot of people just read the, you go on Instagram, you just read the first post, that's it. And you don't do any more digging after that. So it's like, I just like start digging into the stuff. But that's most of the time I got now. I ain't doing nothing. It's like, now I'm just sitting here doing all this research and understanding what's going on in the world. So, and how am I going to put my energy back into the world,
Yeah, no, I definitely agree and see that.
Yeah, because even when the guy was saying, like, oh, yeah, y'all like followers to Jesse, it's like, even when he said that, because at one point, I had to, like, stop listening to Jesse so I could, like, find my own individual self.
Right.
Within all of that, And it's like, you have to, like, break free from it sometimes, take a break, being still and being with yourself.
Definitely, man. I totally resonate with that for sure. That's why I think, I think Jesse purposely, like his, it's obvious if you watch like Roy Masters videos, all the philosophies and even some of the things he, like Roy Masters said something about women being boss makers. And that, like, when they're like, oh, you could be the boss to their husbands, and making it look like the husband is the boss, but he's not because the woman is the boss maker. And so when I saw that, I was like, damn, that's where Jesse got his slut maker thing from. And so, like, there's so many things, and Jesse doesn't give so-called credit to Roy because I understand it, because it's not about leading a man to another man. It's about leading it to God and the truths and the values and principles of it. And so I do that too, is like, I just want to share from my heart, from what I've gotten out of it and what I see, and not trying to be like, a follower of being like, hey, I was brainwashed and I learned everything this guy says, so now I'm going to, narrate it back to you. So I'm definitely aware of that.
Yeah, because I'm at a point now, it's like, my wife is kind of wary of what I'm saying, because it got to a point where even when I broke free from that dark spirit, she couldn't understand what I was saying because everything that came out of my mouth didn't make sense to her. And she would just look at me crazy and be like, I don't know who you are anymore. And then she would threaten to, like, divorce me. I'm like, nah, you can't do that.
Damn.
You gotta stick with me.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
Were you sharing your problems?
Oh, no, it was just that everything that was said, I had to go against that,
Had to what? Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, but everything that was said, it was like, it just came out of my mouth. Cause you know how when a baby is like walking, it's kind of like a newborn, and you're just kind of taking those first steps, and you'll fall,
right,
and you get back up and try again. And that's what it kind of felt like even when I woke up.
Yeah.
Because it was like I was just started saying, everything just started coming out of my mouth, and most of the time I didn't know what I was saying. It just kind of came out, but I knew like God was trying to show me something. But it took time for me to build that, my vocabulary to get what I need to say out and do it correctly.
No, that's for sure, man. I totally resonate with that for sure. When I first found Jesse, like I noticed with a lot of people, I was first entertained by him. Then I was like, I resonated with what he said. Then I was like, wait, what's this guy's angle? I was kept trying to catch him out in something, like thinking like, wait, what is he really about? And then I eventually, once I really realized certain things, I wanted to go tell everybody. And then after that, that's when I kind of started settling into being like, man, like I don't want to convince anybody anything, and just settled in it, like you said. It's like I wanted to just, because of what attracted me to Jesse was because I found Jesse because I started finding like Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson, because I was attracted to their skills to debate and be able to have conversations and say things and win arguments. And I felt like I longed for that because I knew about myself that I was kind of, silent and didn't really face the fire in conversations and stuff. And so that's what I was longing for. And then I found Jesse, and then, everything else unfolded.
Question, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Since you're black, do you think Sean King is white or black?
Oh, he's white.
Did you ever watch wrestling, WWF?
You said y'all watch wrestling?
Did you ever watch wrestling, WWF?
Yeah, I
Yeah, I watched wrestling growing up.
Remember the Dudley Boys?
I feel like I've heard. I don't.
They had the Dudley Death Drop with the one. Anyways, Sean King looks like Bubba Ray Dudley with the glasses. It was like they were the like army, and they were like it was a black guy and a white guy, and they'd be like Dudley Death Drop. I don't know.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
If I sent you a picture of him, you'd laugh because it looks like Sean King. And he white.
Yeah, send it to me. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I was telling people like from the start, like this is a setup. Like I knew it was a trap. Because even with this whole situation, it was just to get the black people riled up, to get angry. You know, because we've been trapped in the house for like 2 months.
Yeah.
You got all these people trapped in the house. They have no human contact.
Better than trapped in the closet.
And like even spaces here, like I'm only in 400 square feet, 1 room studio, no bedroom. So it's like just 1 room, and I'm with my wife. So it's like you can imagine a lot of people don't like, their partners, or the significant other. They can really go off on that.
Yeah, it's like how you said, like waking up and taking those first stumbles in your relationship, and how it nearly made her want to end it. Like you realize how many people are out there and don't actually have real love for the people they're with. They start families with people that they don't actually love.
Yeah. Yeah, because they get those babies and they think the baby's gonna fix it, and it never does. Always gets worse.
Yeah, man, and it's especially hard when you wake up when you're already in a relationship, because the relationship came together from a place that's different than if you met somebody where you were both waking up or you were able to lead correctly. Because at the end of the day, it's like it's not her fault that she was led incorrectly, and then now it's like correcting the error and all those things. It's a tough challenge to go through, and so I hope that it works out, and. Because I know you guys love each other.
Yeah.
I don't know you guys like that, but I would imagine you do. So hopefully she sticks it out and allows you to lead the way.
Sounds like she is, though.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave on this one last thing. Because the thing is, you think about it, it's like even with what Jesse says, is like most of this stuff to regular people, it looks like it's extreme.
For sure.
It's like,
that's why when I first found him, it was so extreme that it was entertainment. And then I started really being like, whoa, like, damn, this is true.
Yeah, it was truth to those things, and it'll be an extreme statement to the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was one thing I was trying to learn how to like at least gradually bring people into that conversation, because it's already going to take time for people to wake up, because even when they're talking about like how you can demoralize the country, it takes 15 to 20 years. Now you have to slowly get people to wake up, because that's all they're doing now. Like they have to see it for themselves, because you can't force it, and that's most of the stuff I was doing too. I feel like everybody, even in that circle, at one point was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna help other people, try to get them to wake up," and it usually doesn't work in the first try.
Right. Because for me, I had to realize that it was my ego. Of course, I thought that I was like trying to help people, but then it was really coming from a place of wanting to overcompensate for what I lacked before, which was like, because there's something about Jesse where he can win arguments, he can debate, and he can say something that's like, dang, I can't believe he had the balls to say that. And so that like I was deceived because I wasn't able to see that I was coming still from an angle of that place where I was, not like in a crazy way, but I know how it would come across to other people now, and I know how I was really coming from a place of trying to convince other people something, and why? Like, why should I care about convincing anybody anything that is committed to misunderstanding in the first place? So now it's like, on Instagram or like on social media and stuff that's my platform, I'll say what I want to say, but I don't walk up to people and try to impose what I think on people unless people ask questions and stuff. Even if people tell me stories about their life and what they do, it's like, I'm not their life coach. I'm not going to tell them, like, oh, you're wrong for that. You shouldn't do that. Like, it's like those people, it's like naggers.
Yeah, and that's it. If they want to tell their business, they tell it. And it's like, and even with people like that, they'll tell me, you know, sometimes I might say something, but sometimes we're just gonna let them suffer. You know, you
Right.
can't just tell everybody everything. Everybody's different, and you can read people's body language too. It's like, and I feel like that should be a mandatory class, is body language, because it's like that's like that's a universal language. You know, everybody does basically the same things with their faces and their bodies in any type of moment that they're in. Like that should be a mandatory class.
And ultimately, man, like
certain situations.
Ultimately, we want to be the goal is to be the example, right? And if we don't need to use our words to try to convince people anything, and eventually the right people that are seeking, they're gonna notice that you're the example or whatever, and then they're gonna come ask you and be like, hey man, like, what do you think of this? Like, I noticed that you're never mad, you're never upset, like, why not? Like, what's up? And then you could talk to them about it. Be like, well, I don't know if you want to know what I think, but if you're asking. And then they're open to, it's their idea. It's not that you impose. Just like a parent, you know, like parents shouldn't have to be parents. They should just be the examples and lead the children by example. And then they're going to grow up and be like them, you know?
Yeah. And that's what, like, even when they talk about teaching, you can't really teach nobody. It just kind of, it will be attached to them. And that's like, even when I look at careers, even when I went to college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But it was one class I took, it was like microeconomics. I was doing so great in that class, I'm like, I should just be a going to this field. I was going to be engineering, but I wasn't going to finish. But just thinking about, there's certain things that you're naturally good at, because I'm just naturally good with numbers. And so it's like, I can do something with numbers, you know?
Yeah.
Well, like we talked about, hopefully we can I'd love to have you on the show and get you to sit in here and talk about some interesting stuff. You definitely know about a lot of the cool conspiracies out there that I think people would be surprised to see what we might be able to come up with.
Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, I'm going to get up out of here. But it's nice talking to you.
Yes, sir.
You too, man.
You going to be at church this Sunday?
We'll see about that.
If the God is willing, the creek don't rise.
Yeah, no.
Well, thanks for calling in, brother, and thanks for the support, man.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Bang.
No problem. Yeah, have a good one, guys.
All right, take care,
Bye,
bro.
Manuel. So I put it out there in the chat, see if there's any women who want to end the stream with a call from a lady before we say sayonara. We got the Black Toria in the chat.
Hey, what do you know? Credit solutionist, everybody's using it. We'll fix your credit. Come on down, key change, come on down. Credit solutionist, everybody's using it. We'll fix your credit.
And we got a very, very special request. Schmitty dropped a fat super chat.
No way.
He asked, can Trevor please play my theme before we bounce out of here?
Damn right.
So I think you deserve a little intermission with Schmitty's theme.
If you know a guy, his name is Schmitty. Super chats are never shitty. That's our man Schmitty. Oh, Schmitty. Does he live in the country or live in the city? That's our man Schmitty. Thank you, Schmitty. Could be a new part. It could go, Schmitty is a man who, he knows the plan. He's walking like a real tall man. Schmitty, Schmitty, Schmitty. What was it? Schmitty. Remember he was like, my song used to sound like a video game. So I was thinking of Mike Tyson's Punch Out, how they had the like
That was such a good game. Corn Pop is in the chat. Thank you, Smitty, for that super chat.
Thanks, man. I don't know numbers. I don't know nothing. I got a computer. I've got a couple games on I like to play. You ever watch those G.I. Joe videos that were overdubbed? That's what that was from. Where they'd be like, it would look like, it would look authentic, like it was really a G.I. Joe episode, but then they were like, what was it? What was one of these? He's like, I'm a computer. He's like, what? I'm a computer. Stop all the downloading.
Do you know the Ghostbusters theme song? Caesar Solo's in the chat.
Caesar? Our Caesar?
Yeah, our Mexican brother.
Caesar?
What is the Ghostbusters?
About to paint the town, bro.
When there's something wrong.
Paint the town red.
In the neighborhood. Who you gonna call?
So it's like...
There you go. It's for his son. Here you go, little Caesar Solo.
When there's something strange in the neighborhood, ha! Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
I don't really go.
Yeah. I ain't afraid of no ghost.
It really sounds like Schmitty. That's not right though. I think that's what it is. What's that chord though? It's wrong.
Where goes that little change?
You're not helping. I'm not here. Yeah. That's not it. Yeah, let me hear it. We don't gonna get doxxed though, do you mind? Why is this so hard? That's what it is. I have to practice it. And then it. She said Black Wives Matter, and that encourages black men.
Black Lives
to,
Matter.
To scoop up these wives out here. And all men. What's up, Black Korea?
Hi, how are you guys?
You credit. Yeah. What's the word?
Well, I guess I was calling in to say goodnight, man. I'm like all tapped out. It's crazy.
Now it's time to see.
Bomb people had me on the phone all day today.
What'd you do all day today?
No, I said I feel like I've been talking to Bond people all day today.
Is that a complaint?
Well, you guys are a bit much sometimes.
You never talk to me. You don't hit me up. You never talk to me. No, I'm kidding.
You know why? Because you're always napping. You actually sleep more than a black man.
Napping? How do you know what I'm doing?
It's just an assumption. You
sleep more than a black man.
Sleep during the day.
He's black.
My schedule has been sleep in the day and party all night.
That's what it looks like, man. But no, it's been a busy day today, which is good. It's nice to stay busy, but this wind, man.
Man, I'm feeling like trapped or something right here below my nose. I just started feeling. I'm like, I need to look in the mirror and see what it looks like, because it just feels irritated,
Like a pimple?
no, it's not a pimple. It's like a burn. It's like from the wind, dude. Because I haven't been outside for years.
Yeah, something's blowing out there, because I was coughing and sneezing so much a couple of hours ago, and I was like, wait, if I have the COVID, I got it. Who the hell did I get it from? And then I thought, whoa, I've seen a lot of people since the weekend, so I'm like, oh God, please
you can't catch a
But
lie.
then I realized it's allergies, so I'm good.
So, are you looking forward to getting your first little boomstick?
I am. I was just talking to one of the girls, and she wants to go along, to check some stuff out. And I'm like, well, I suppose. I mean, maybe, but I do feel kind of nervous going by myself, actually, to pick out my first piece.
Yeah, no, take her. I mean, it's good. That's why I've been encouraging all you Bond girls, because you guys need to get over that fear of it, talking about it, thinking about it, the process. Even guys psych themselves out about, that it's not necessary or that it's too big of a process to get it. So help demystify it and take her along so she can feel comfortable.
It started with the knives. You got yourself a knife. Now you're flipping it like pancakes. Now?
It's so awesome. Yeah, and I really can't wait. It's
Once
gonna
we
be
all have
good.
our
I'm going to
guns,
go on Wednesday.
And then we can all go camping.
Oh, you're going this Wednesday?
And
You're
shoot
going?
stuff? Yeah, I'm going to go on Wednesday. I don't think I'm going to go back to Turner's in Pasadena, though, because they said they didn't have too much in stock, so...
Yeah, anywhere you can go to get it. Now that you have, did they give you your certificate, the little card, so you can laminate it and keep it with you?
Yeah, they laminated it in the store, so I have it with me. They issue it, as soon as you pass. So, yep, I got it with me.
Well, maybe you can have her take it. Take the other girl who's going, see if she can take her test that day. Hopefully they offer it.
Yeah, I told her to go to the website, the DOJ website, and take the test. Because it's now that I've done it, it's like, okay, it really is pretty easy. And
Super.
even if you have no intention to get a gun right away, it's like, just go do that one step. Just do that.
It all gets easier, and once you own it,
all 12
just get
steps start
comfortable.
with one.
Exactly. And then 2-3 years from now, you'll be so comfortable with it. You won't have any doubts about using it, when to use it. Like I said, you don't fall for that mental trap that people get shot when they own one. No, you get shot when you're doing good or when you're doing bad things, and a good person has a gun.
And especially people that are becoming self-aware and more present. You get shot when you're in your imagination and away from the present and deceived. That's when you make mistakes, but the more present you get, the less likely you're going to make mistakes,
Yeah,
you know
trust God. He'll take care of you. You'll fire it when you need to fire it.
And gun safety is always keep your finger off the trigger, of course. Keep it pointed down.
Right.
And, whatever else you can think of that's safe.
Yeah, you'll be a pro in no time. So, yeah, hopefully she gets her little certificate, and take as many girls, and keep encouraging them, because you girls drag your feet. You drag your asses on this stuff. And so do guys.
They're sweet asses, but you drag them.
Yeah, so you gotta...
No, it's crazy. Yeah, it's like we won't do something unless, unless there's somebody there to keep pushing us to get it done. And, for me, I don't want to nag. So my thing is
yeah, don't be a nagger.
Go, and that's... exactly. I don't want to be a nagger. So, yeah.
Did you ever see that South Park episode?
Oh my God. Okay, wait. Speaking of naggers, though, I have a question. Okay. I don't know if you guys talked about it earlier because I didn't get to tune in, but did you guys see that crazy picture with Nancy Pelosi and all those other folks with the African getup today?
I didn't see that, but
No.
every picture I've seen of Nancy Pelosi is definitely crazy.
Oh my God. Like, you guys have to look it up. It was so crazy. And I don't know who else was with her in the picture, but they're pandering so hard right now. That was borderline infuriating. It was like either really funny or like really infuriating.
It reminds me. I saw a picture today of these white families, like that had like chains on them, and then shirts that said "We're so sorry," and it like they had their heads in these like wood things. That's like portraying themselves as being slaves. Like we're slaves for you.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
saw
what
that.
the heck?
How does that
it's going a little too far now. It's like, okay, guys, it's all right. Go back to your cottages and your high rises. It's fine. We get it. You know,
What does that look like from your perspective? Are you like, like, what do you think about all this? These white people that are like super.
Yeah, what do you think about the white people washing black people's feet, laying on the floor with their hands behind their back, taking a knee, just complete.
Is there a little piece of you inside of you that's like, yeah, that's right.
That's right, white.
Yeah, that's
whitey.
right. You better bow down.
No. Okay, look, I can tell you from personal experience. I mean, I do think I feel like when white people don't have guns and stuff like that, they're very docile people. Like they're very, very docile, and they're very
nice.
accommodating, you know, and just they don't want any mess,
That's
you know.
right. Peaceable.
So,
But the white ones that go over the edge,
yeah,
those are the ones that are like,
you
whoa,
push them far enough.
that person is pretty insane.
You'll find out why less than 11% of the world's population conquered the entire world. You'll find out real quick.
well, that's what I'm saying. It's like they bend over too far backwards, and it's like, okay, you're right. People that do that do tend to be the ones that will probably chop your head off in your sleep or something.
Those are like the ones that are like super suppressed, and it's like they just see red. They're like, ah!
Mm-hmm,
and they shoot at schools.
Yeah, and it's like, get out of their way, you know? But I don't know. I mean, I'm not surprised, you know? I'm really not, now that I think about it. Like, it was a little shocking at first, but then when I think about, like, some of the white men, not necessarily white women, but some of the white men that I've dealt with, they definitely are like that. You know what I mean? Like, overcompensating and, like,
try hard.
It's super apologetic and like.
Yeah, it's like they lay it on a little too thick, and you're like, okay.
I was so disappointed with one of these friends that I have that he posted the black square and was like, guys, I'm so sorry. I have been acknowledging my privilege, and you know, like, and I'm just like, bro.
They say that we must learn. We must do better. It's like, shut up.
Well, I don't understand the whole we thing.
But do better at what? Like, exactly. What are they doing better at? Is my question. Because it's like, are they trying to say that they were racist? If that really was a thing, like, what? Do better how?
That's what. Like, that's what my thing. Is that these people that are acknowledging their so-called privilege, they seem racist to me because privilege is power, and basically you're acknowledging your white power. Just like the KKK.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I'm not understanding. But I was just telling one of the girls a second ago that now that some people have seen that photo of Pelosi and those other people with the African, I guess it was like a scarf or something, but it was like clearly African. So it was just, oh God.
I haven't seen it.
But some people that have seen it, they're a little irritated now because now they can see with their own eyes that they're being pandered to. They can see it now. So I thought, well, okay, if that's what it takes to get some people to see the light, you know, then I'm okay with that. Then yes, please post that video or that photo all over social media because they actually all took a knee today as well. Like they did it at like 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I think it was.
Unreal.
So yeah, it was a big production. Like it was just this big thing. But you know, some of the people that again were kind of you know, going with the narrative, now they see it and they can see that it's BS. You know, if that's what it takes to get to them versus, you know, you saying it or I saying it or, you know, trying to say it in our own way, sometimes it takes a photo like that to turn people around, and maybe some people will start to wake up.
They're definitely laying it on.
Really silly.
They're laying it on super thick. Like the thing too that's kind of irritating. It's not irritating, but it's just wrong to me. Is that all these big companies are like imposing their political and opinions about the stuff, like Uber Eats,
Amazon,
Apple TV. Like you open them up and the first thing
Netflix.
it says is "We stand with this." It's like,
Black
all right,
Lives
cool.
Matter.
Like I pay you guys a monthly fee to show me products so I could buy them. Not like tell me what you guys think.
Yeah, and when have they ever put any other issue on the forefront like that?
Right, they're not gonna be like Happy 4th of July.
Yeah, or black people stop killing 40% of our police officers.
But it's, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like just stop. We don't care. You're a business that we're doing business with. It's like intertwining personal and business together. It's like, it's just, it seems wrong, and that alone is an indication to be like, what's going on here? Why is everybody colluding?
Yeah, it's
So
supposed to
what
be
do
an
you guys
organic movement.
think about
It's
that?
sponsored.
Like, do you stop patronizing that business? Like, how does that work?
Well, I mean, sure, I could do it myself, but it's like unless enough of people do it, it wouldn't do anything if I did it by myself. You know, all I would is not have Amazon Prime anymore, and I love my Amazon Prime.
Yeah, because I don't know. Like I said, that one night I saw the Uber Eats thing, I said, oh, not tonight. I'm going to cook my own dinner.
Speaking
I'm
of
good,
Uber
you know?
Eats, Uber Eats also announced that there's free delivery for black-owned businesses.
Yeah, isn't that something? Is that white privilege?
I'm telling you, if I were white, that would piss me off. Like, that's crazy to me.
If I were black, that would piss me off. I'd be like, what? Like, why am I getting like I can have a business just as good as anyone else. I have a good enough food.
It's welfare.
Like
it's
people,
more welfare
people
for the
want
state.
to eat my food whether they get free delivery or not. It's not like, oh, I guess I'll eat there since it's free. It's like, it's pity.
It is, and you know, but that's the same as saying you're minority owned. It's like you just don't want to be a target right now, you know. But what I was actually talking about with one of the other girls too is we were saying that right now, if you say something about anything, you're going to be the enemy, but then you're also still going to be seen as the enemy if you don't say anything.
Right.
So we really can't win right now. Like nobody can win in this thing, and that's how we know that it's BS because it's too complicated.
Yeah,
It's
anybody
like,
who grew up and overcame a dysfunctional, manipulative family can see through all this stuff because it's exactly the same thing. I see it now as like the family, right? It all starts in the family, but then on a bigger picture, Republican and Democrat, it's like Republican is the dad and Democrat is the mom.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that the Republicans or conservatives are too afraid to speak up. They're the weak father that they can't, correct and stand up against the mom. And then the Democrats are all emotionally,
crazy.
just going crazy. It's like, it's nuts.
All right, the stream is good.
No, I agree with you, and it was just bizarre today, and I'm just, not going to remove myself from social media at all, because I'm intrigued by what's happening, and it's very entertaining to see, and I just don't know how many people are going to remain in my friend circle after this is all done, and I feel like right now we're just going through I don't know, it's like popping a zit. It's like you're just getting all of the crap out of your circle. It's like they're kind of all just exiting at the same time, and it's a little different. Like it's an adjustment, but I'm happy that it's happening now. I would rather it be today and there's like a mass exodus of 10 people than for them to go one every year. You know what I mean? Like I would rather know.
But it's kind of makes sense though. It's like
with my enemy today.
It's like seeking God's kingdom, and all else will be added. Right? Once you start to seek what's right, and then everything. It's like trimming the fat. You can't you can't put new things on the table until the table's cleared away. And I'm not clearing the table. The table is clearing itself.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, everything else is added upon me. Like I have so many awesome new friends, and it's quality over quantity, and it's the right people that I know. The people that love what's right and seek the truth, they're not my friend because of they're keeping score about what I've done for them and what they do for me. It's because they live by their heart and what's right. And so it's a relationship with God. God's the middleman. That is the friendship, and these other people are like the scorekeepers, and like, oh, you don't disagree with me, I'm not your friend. It's like it's all control.
Yeah, God is right now.
Yeah.
What's happening is God is revealing who your real friends are. You're not losing friends. It's being revealed that you didn't have as many friends as you
You're
thought
finding
you
out
did.
that they weren't ever your friends.
Exactly, and then with this little stream and this chat and all these people hanging out with us, all you guys. This is an example, the people at Bond, where it's an example of how you can be around people and have vastly different opinions on a range of topics. But in the end, like Trevor says, what we all want is to seek His kingdom in His right way, and we don't allow our differences to define our relationships.
Yes, and I'll be honest, like for the first time in my life, like I'm able to have a conversation with people where we all have a similar foundation, I would say. We've had to go through a lot of crap to finally figure out, what our foundations are and actually find the foundation. But it's like, now that we have that, I've never had a group of people where I can be comfortable talking about things that, that the stuff that we talk about, or, like how friends are kind of scared to put each other in their place and all this other stuff. It's like, I don't experience that anymore. And,
and the thing is with the right people, it's like what you share to me as a friend or whatever, I know you're coming from the right place and it's honest, and I don't hold on to those things. Like the people that are angry and emotional like that, they hold on to it and they store it away in their little purse, and then they use it against you. Like I don't remember, like, sure, I know Richard's helped you out in a lot of ways, and whatever, I've tried to help whenever I could and whatever, but I don't remember it. Like I'm not holding on to it to be like, what about that one time? Like, it's like, that's what a lot of these angry people do is they
scorekeep.
They scorekeep, man, and that's what they're doing with the race stuff. They're like, well, we could be prideful in our race because your race is pride represented oppression of us. It's like, well, dude, we were in second grade together. We grew up with the same type of stuff.
Exactly.
What about the 400 years of slavery, Trevor? Did you just forget about that all of a sudden?
I'm sorry.
We'll come over here. We'll wash your feet.
Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm going to need more than that. The nail shop's been closed, so.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I might need some. I was
we'll have to get the
that's
angle grinder out.
That's not looking good.
Grind those nails down.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Like I said earlier, I think, I bet that there's a lot of, like, weirdo, perverted foot fetish people out there that are like, yeah, I'll wash your feet.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, did you see that lady that was on the video clip they showed today on Jesse's show? The Reverend and his wife or whatever. They're both supposedly lead pastors. Or I don't know if you could have two lead pastors at a church, but whatever. The guy and the girl, they were sitting there and the white folks were washing their feet.
What? No, I did not see that. But the fact that they consider themselves lead pastors, obviously that they're partners, which is
it's almost
ridiculous.
That makes me think it's a psyop of trying to make people be like Christians again, like fake people in the name of church and stuff. It's all another just perverting.
They only
church.
let these Christians get airtime because it makes us look like idiots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know what that's all about. I do wish that letter that Jesse read or James read yesterday. I wish that would be like headline news because that was an amazing piece of work there. I'm like, dude, that needs to be on the front page of the newspaper, not this other craziness that's going on. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like I'm just kind of sitting back and watching the show, and I don't know if you guys feel like that too, but I do. I feel like I'm in an alternate universe right now. Like I've never experienced anything like this in my life, and I'm not as shaken as I was last week,
Good.
Now I'm more than in more of an observation kind of mode, because it really is turning into a circus, and
You'll get
it's
better
like,
at
oh
it.
my God, this is
You just
This is
keep
happening.
you keep watching. You need to have the consciousness of your Father, and you know what should come to men naturally, and it's that ability to sit still. You know, quiet your heart, quiet your mind. You know, speak less, make more sandwiches, and get your gun.
With or without the crust?
With the crust. Only betas do that.
I don't know, actually. My mom never made it like that, but I never liked the crust. So if you can cut my crust off and make little sandwich squares, maybe even make them in little hearts.
I mean, the only thing I didn't like
Oh
was
my
that first
God.
piece of bread.
Wait, sandwich squares are so white. It's either the
I
triangle,
always
like
liked
the cutting
Wonder Bread.
across.
I do like Wonder Bread.
Oh my God, that's rich people bread. Are you serious? You ate Wonder Bread?
That's not rich people bread. That's just the worst, like bleached, generic bread. Yeah, I like Wonder Bread. It's no wonder. I like Stevie Wonder.
Wonder Bread was like, oh my God, that was that was like the holy grail.
That's
We
funny.
got
I didn't
store
think
brand
I thought
white
that was
bread.
the cheap generic white bread, Wonder Bread. It's like Aunt Jemima.
No, oh
So-
God, no. That's like the best. That's
No way.
oh no.
Well, I
I
mean,
used to always want my mom to get Wonder Bread all the time.
it
And
was
she's
the.
like,
I mean,
"No,
I don't know.
get
That was just
brand."
the most popular bread.
Now
as
it's
a kid.
frowned upon. If I ever tell any of these vegans or all these people about bread that they're like just they eat rye or
They're like, that's enriched
they're
flour
like, they're
and
like,
bleached.
oh my gosh, Wonder Bread, that's the worst.
That has like more than 6 ingredients. How can you eat that?
Well, it has enriched flour, I guess, if that's good for you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
But
care.
yeah, like I was saying though, I mean, do you guys at least? Because I don't know if I'm just maybe experiencing this on my own though. But do you kind of feel like? I don't know. Like, do you feel like anything like this has ever happened while you've been alive? Like
No,
what we're experiencing
it hasn't.
right now?
No, this is the first. This never. Not even our parents saw this. Not even
So
with
it is a
Vietnam.
time to be alive for sure.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, like I
amazing.
feel like we're really getting to see the first of something, and I don't know what it's gonna be. Like I'm honestly ready to like see Jesus just come out of the sky. Like I have no idea what's coming, but it's like, dude, it feels like it's about to be something major.
Yeah, these are some, like Jesse said, this is one of the most amazing times to be alive in history. You're witnessing, there's a real awakening, not the Q awakening, just a real, things are being revealed, which is what apocalypse, I think, means by definition. It's not a chaotic thing, it's a revelation. It's
Yeah.
it's an uncovering,
And
removing.
if you think about it, nothing really is happening or changed in the world. It's all the people. It's all the ideologies. It's all the things that are just like, if everyone's in stillness, everything is the same as it's always been. Like time, nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed are the hearts and the spirit. Like that's how you know it's a spiritual battle. Like it's not like there's crazy things happening in the world, like natural disasters and all kind of weird stuff like that. It's just people are insane.
Right. Dude, it's insane, man. Like I said, I'm really taking it one day at a time, and that's all we really can do. And I'm just so glad that all that crazy chaos is behind us right now. I know we're going to have a little quiet lull right now, and then it's probably going to get even nuttier, like in the next month or so. But, hopefully I'll be armed and ready. And, yeah, we need to all go shooting again, though. I don't know when we can set something like that up again, because Mama needs practice now.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, we all gotta
We gotta
practice.
do it.
Get your gun and you practice with it day in, day out. You take it apart, you clean it, you put it back together over and over and over again, and you'll be just fine.
Yes.
And make sure
I have faith.
all the
and,
girls get one too.
it'll-
Get on their asses.
Oh,
don't let
they
those girls
will.
go.
No, I'll stay on top of them about it, because we have to, especially, I hate to sound cliche, but I tell them all the time, it's like, as girls, like, if we're single, if anybody comes into our place, they're coming for something that
Right.
doesn't belong to them, so let's be ready.
Yeah, and you can
It's
give them
like,
a
come
nice
on.
little present. You blow them right back out of the house.
There you go. Blow them across the hall. Oh, not in that way.
Yeah,
though.
not that kind of
you know what I'm
blowjob.
saying.
They're gonna get the other kind of blowjob.
Like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna let you guys go. Actually, I'm probably gonna get to sleep. Thank goodness. This is like early for me, but I'm so tired.
All right. Well,
That's
thank you
good.
for calling, Victoria.
Yeah. We'll see you soon. I sounded like
Absolutely.
Did
All right,
that's
guys.
folks.
Well, yeah, I'll keep you posted on the gun too. I probably won't post pictures on social media.
No,
but
keep
you
it
know,
to yourself,
I'll
yeah.
let you know.
Okay.
I know, right? All right, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Girl, bye.
Girl, bye.
All right. Bye bye.
All right. Any closing remarks?
Yeah.
So,
I
Trevor?
will say that if you ever need solutions for your credit, make sure you call Credit Solutionist. Everybody's using it. She'll fix your credit.
Yeah, Smitty said it. Be prepared for the worst. It could get nasty out there.
That's Schmitty wise word from Schmitty. Super chat's a litty. Personality's not shitty. Schmitty.
So yeah, my takeaway for the night: just don't have any fear or doubt whatever's going on. You know, be aware of any and all things. Be aware of Q. Be aware of Trump. Be aware of the money going to Israel. Be aware of everything. But have no feelings about it either. Anyway, just watch it. See what's happening. Be aware of what's happening. You know, see the riots. See these people destroying stuff. Don't get angry at them. Be aware of who they are, what they're doing, who they serve. And be prepared. Don't sit there and wait, because God doesn't work that way. He doesn't just come down and just block, bullets from getting you or stop somebody from, breaking into your house and touching your wife and child. So get yourself a gun, exercise your rights, practice, and stay out of your feelings, and you'll do everything the right way.
Here's my take that it just hit me like a big bowl of rice. I don't know why I said that, but try test out and see how much you can change around you just by observing it. You know what I'm saying? You know how oftentimes we want to force and make things happen? If we stop doing it, don't try to force anything. Don't have an opinion about it. Don't try to change it. Just observe it. And the simple observation of something changes it. It's crazy. Because that's the way God works. God changes things. And it's not our doing. And it always makes me think of that double light experiment. Go on YouTube, type in double light slit experiment. And there's like this tutorial or explanation about a wall with two slits in it and shining light on it. And the photons go through the light or through the wall. And when it goes through the slit, it acts as a wave, right? Because sound waves, right? You throw a pebble in a pond and it shoots out like a wave. So it's like that, right? And so when it goes through the hole, it starts a new thing and it goes out like a wave. And so what they discovered is that when they observed those photons, they went through one slit. When they didn't observe, it went through both slits. Like something in that world. So they realized scientifically that the simple observation of looking changed it. So I resonated with that in my life because it's just like when you talk to someone you love or someone in general. And I think of girls when I think of this. Like I know that girls oftentimes, even subconsciously, they look for a reaction in you. Like they'll almost set you up and be like,
The shit test.
I'm not mad, waiting for a reaction, or whatever the situation is. And so when you don't have a reaction, they have nothing to judge. So all they can see is themselves, and then they end up changing because they don't have something to judge from you. And I used to always, especially my family in the house, I always try to react, and I'll show you, I'll say the most hurtful thing back, and it was just hell. And now I realize that when I just listen and I just don't react and I don't get angry, then the other people end up getting more angry or getting more upset. And then that surfaces whatever it is that they are, and then they'll probably go home and think about it and see it. And then who knows, maybe they'll come around, but maybe not.
There you go. Smitty, just read his last comment. I'm going to have to call in and tell some of my boxing stories while Trevor plays it in the background sometime. Yeah. No problem, man. Thank you again, Smitty, for the super chat. And
Thanks, Schmitty.
thanks to everybody for joining us.
And also, was it Catherine?
Catherine was the other night, but not tonight, I believe. But yeah, but thank you for all of you guys. This has been an amazing unfolding of events. Oh,
Because what happened?
Who's that?
Yo,
Am I online?
you are.
Oh, I'm just.
You caught us at the arrow moment.
Too late.
What happened? Go ahead.
Hold on, let me turn off my TV.
Oh, great.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll call next time. Okay.
It's all good. What was your quick question? Shoot for it. We'll end it with your question or your comment.
It's mostly about like realizing that like I have no love. And I was thinking, like, I was wondering if this is just a woman thing. Like I'm seeing it for myself. I have no love. Like, is that that seems not normal? Like, it just seems awful.
It sounds like it, but it's the realization that you none of us have anything inside of us to give at all. It doesn't come from you, and it never came from a woman.
Yeah, I don't have love either. That's the
You know.
thing, is I don't create it. That's why I gotta surrender so that I can receive love from God and then redistribute it.
So it's not a bad thing, and it doesn't make you any less of a woman, but it's important. How does it feel to see that in yourself, that you don't have love?
Well, my first inclination was to judge myself and feel awful. And
Right.
I think, like, yeah, because I kind of shared it with my sister, and then she went in. She was like, you see, you're so judgmental. It's not working for you, whatever you're doing. And I was like, okay, I'm talking to the wrong person here. Because I'm not supposed to feel awful about it, but it's, obviously, like, I can't change it. But maybe, like, seeing it, because I'm over here thinking, like, that I have the, capacity to love someone. And I really wasn't. Like, I'm very much, like, I don't think that I've ever loved someone for who they are. Like, just purely,
The fact that you can see it, the fact that you see that, though, is so awesome, because you're able to receive love, right? And so if you can see love, that when someone loves you properly, then you know that is such a beautiful thing, because like that order is that, like, love comes from above, right? And so you're able to receive it, and that's okay,
You're especially now that you're not an old woman, but you're older, and you like all of us who've woken up late in life, or at least later in life.
Yeah, we're not old. We're
We're still in our prime.
peak of our lives right here.
You hold on to that observation, because the risk is, if you lose that observation and you forget that you'll end up like all the other women who may have heard the truth and may know what the right way is, but they never overcame their ego. In fact, their ego got bigger because they know what's right. They know Jesse Lee. They know about forgiveness, but they still are holding on to their knowledge of what they think is right.
It's hard, Richard. It's so hard, because it's like, I know that I shouldn't, and I shouldn't be holding on to any of that other expectations. And it's like, it's difficult, but we'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully it just falls away.
I would say a good indicator is that when a man is leading you, it's going to be highly likely that that ego in you that is fighting to stay alive will try to tell you that this is not the guy. He's trying to take control of me. Whatever it is, it's going to give you negative feelings about that person instead of trying to make you feel butterflies. I would say that's a good sign. Relax in that, because that's the guy you need. The guy who's going to call you on your BS and not cater to you. It doesn't mean that he won't be nice to you when it's right, but he'll also call you on your nonsense
and cater to you in the right way with feeding you that love. Because the love, and I think too that it's something you grow in, because there's a part of you that's dying, which is that ego, and once that dies, you're reborn into who you really are, and being able to enjoy life and be the observer, and it's almost a sense of security, like being a woman. I feel like you find a good man, and you don't have to take on the world like the world tries to tell us that you're supposed to do, and you just get to enjoy your life, and it's awesome. Like, instead of overthinking it, like you said, about like judging yourself and thinking like, I don't have love, and you don't have to intellectualize it. you just be grateful that you can see, and don't overthink it, and judge yourself.
Yeah.
Just be ready to feel uncomfortable. A good man is likely going to make you feel something because, like Trevor said, that ego doesn't want to die. And it wants you to run to a guy who looks like you've been dating in the past. And that's the whole idea that, like you talked about before, your lists. And if you're running back to that list and that guy looks like that list, you probably went the wrong direction.
For sure. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
But just keep observing. It'll get easier.
And look you got to take Jesse's advice too. Remember, Jesse said, never, but ever tell a woman your problems. You went to your friend and she fed you what you probably wanted to pander to your feelings and make you feel better. And like, oh no, you have a lot. Whatever it was, like that's the beauty of is when you the real, even if that's why being close to your father, that's the example of it, is that's the person that you would go to. That would tell you the right way if he was the right man, and then the man you end up finding that you want to be with or whatever. That's what they're there for, or your guy friends.
Yeah.
But I know girls probably would never be able to give up gossiping and talking with their girls.
Girls will be girls.
Yeah.
And make sure you get your gun. Go take the test and start the process.
Gracie, get your gun. Gracie, get your gun.
I'll get one. Alright, guys. Talk to you later.
What was that?
I said I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right, you take care.
Good night, Gracie.
Girl, bye.
Bye.
Bye. A great way to end the stream.
Yeah. Just when you think it,
It can't get any better.
well, like we didn't expect, but I always love about Grace is that she's always honest and she's like really wants to learn or see something. And I'm not saying that I'm a teacher or that I give great advice or anything. I'm not on here to hear myself talk and think that I'm great or anything like that. It's just that when I come with realizations in my life, I want to share it. Just like if I get a new gun here, I want to share it. I want to show you. What's the good of having anything?
And if you want to break in, he's going to share those bullets with you too.
If you can't share it. And I think Grace too is probably wants to share too, when she grows in her life, and sometimes especially realizing these things in life is very small amount of people that resonate and get it, and so it could fool you into feeling lonely or whatever it is, but
the world is not going to be lined up with you like she felt with the friend who was not awake, didn't help her at all. So it's important that you fellowship with the right people and you can talk to somebody who can hear what you're saying and give you their observation of what's going on.
And if you think about it, like, if you think that you don't have love to give, it's like, well, what do you make that mean? Are you saying that you're longing for a purpose or an sense of importance? Like, what is it that makes you think that, if you're not giving anger, you're not giving, the opposite of love, evil. It's like, it's subjective what you would say. God is love, and can you give God? That's how I see it. It's like, it's not the emotional love that the world tries to tell us love is, right? It's, can you give God? No, you cannot, right? And that's what it is. It's not the way what you think of it as. It's not like you're no good and all those things, even though no man is good. But it's not depressing. It's just it's observing. It's like there's nothing wrong with just being an observer and living your life and enjoying it and counting your lucky stars and your blessings. And
it takes the weight off.
Yeah,
I'm sure she feels like we all felt when we can observe ourselves honestly. There's a lifting of something off of you. Like you grow and you get, that's one more piece of your identity you just got back. And by observing, you put yourself, God puts you back together. So keep observing. Do not get tricked into injecting your emotions. Sometimes your parents didn't model support and love, but love will find a way with God's help and your own forgiveness, which blesses the giver and receiver. I love giving and I love receiving. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Stephen. Call in tomorrow. I know you have a lot of questions about the idea of the interracial marriages and mixing, and it's a valid question. We got to talk about it, you know. And I love that you stuck around. You didn't get any feelings, and you didn't storm off, you know. So just don't blast anybody on social media for having a different opinion. Remember, that's beta moves. Be an alpha, you know. Talk to that person one-on-one without the anger, without the emotions.
Cause you don't wanna be a beta, beta. Don't wanna be a beta male. Don't wanna be a beta, beta male. Pros and cons, the world blames dad when it's really your mom.